Ambition is not a virtue. Okay, so before you click out and close out this video, let me explain. So I've been wrestling with something for a little while now, and I think we all wrestle with this at some point in our lives. And I just want to just share this with you. So basically, I started this channel to talk about going on pilgrimages and really encouraging and hopefully inspiring y'all to go on your own pilgrimage, wherever that is. I would love to see this become a community of people going out, taking groups, taking their families, going by themselves on pilgrimages. And I love YouTube. I love the platform. I love watching YouTube and consuming it, and learning from various artists and creators is just phenomenal. But there's also a hidden trap in all of this, and I felt it kind of creeping up on me as of late, and it's this idea of success on YouTube and just success in general, for that matter. So this thing that's been creeping up in my psyche is this idea of this desire for more viewers, more subscribers, all that kind of stuff. And you know, obviously at first it's like, I want more viewers just because I hope that people get a lot out of these videos, but I also hope that people would then share and like and eventually subscribe to what I'm doing. But it's always trying to focus on the why, because see, the why I want people to subscribe, I think, is I want to be as authentic as I can on camera. I know you only see what I show y'all, but I'm also not one of those really crazy, going all over the place, lots of banners and really hyperactive. That's just not really my personality. But I also hope I'm not too just laid back and too quiet. I like to tell people I'm the most extroverted introvert you will ever meet. And I really felt called to make this channel, to do these videos, especially in the Catholic sector of the world. And anyway, switching gears, I wanted to share with y'all a few years back, I decided to kind of start slowly weaning myself off of social media. And this is something that's been in the news, and especially if you are, watching certain videos, certain, creators, especially YouTube creators, this idea of trying to decompress and also just detox from social media. In fact, one of my favorite YouTubers, Casey Neistat, had just posted a video exactly about this topic, and I was like, oh, thank you, I'm not the only one. So I'll leave a link of it either above or down below in the description. But basically, for me, I was born and raised on the internet. I was born and raised in the... Anyways, I remember in 2004, my freshman year in college, and people were going crazy over this new social media, because back then all it was your Xanga blog posting and your MySpace. That was it. And then all of a sudden this thing called Facebook was made available for the first time at our university. It started in, we heard the rumors that, it started in Harvard, and then it was only allowed in certain colleges, and it was a college networking platform. And we were really excited, but I remember the first inklings and see my roommate and I kind of playing with it. It was mostly just kind of networking, making friends within your college. And then really it was just silly stuff. It was, hey, let's create a make-believe group, and then we assign different titles. So, I'm the vice president of dog trainers and secretary of whatever. So it wasn't really anything serious, or, we spent a whole lot of time. But over time, it started to develop and grow into what we know now today. And, but we have to remember, this was only 15 years ago. And then we see the adoption and new social media in Twitter, and then Instagram, and then Snapchat, and then some other, things out there. But those are the main big ones, right? And these brilliant, brilliant minds have come together, and they realize, and what we failed to see sometimes is that they are a company. And as a company, they're designed to make profit. How do they make profit? Well, they can't sell you a product that you can take home and use like a camera, like this camera, where I can just turn it on, use it, and then when I'm done, I just put it back on my shelf. Their whole design is that they want your attention. They want your eyeballs, and they want them for as long as humanly possible. And they've tricked us using these devices, these smartphones, in a brilliant way, in such a brilliant way that we are more than Pavlovian. It is an addiction. It is truly an addiction. And I realized that within myself. I was addicted. I was addicted to Facebook and Instagram heavily. And I quickly gave up Facebook. That I was fine with. I had no problems with that. Getting off Instagram was really hard for me. And that's when I realized I had a problem. I was truly addicted when I was craving it. And I was really in a kind of a sad place in there. And then I was on Twitter, and I became obsessed with Twitter. I come from a family of addicts, and some of my family members have struggled and fought with their various different forms of addictions, whether it was alcohol, pornography, different things like that. And so knowing that about my family and my background, I too also have an addictive personality. When I get onto something I really like, I can get really tied up and really addicted to it. And so I realized that's what was happening to me in my brain. And I was thinking about all the hours I was wasting just gathering a bunch of stuff that didn't really matter at the end of the day. It wasn't going to satiate my soul. It wasn't going to make me joyful. It wasn't going to make me happy. Sometimes it made the exact opposite. It was to get me riled up and then to lash out on the things that don't really matter to my salvation. It would take away from my wife and from my kids, and I just didn't like the man I was becoming. So I decided this Lent I was giving up Twitter. And I'm very happy I have, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get back on Twitter. And so one of the lies that I told myself, and some of you may or may not know, why, okay, hang on, time out. You may be thinking, okay, Jason, where are you going with all this? You've been rambling. Okay, I'm going to tie it in. So as some of y'all know in previous videos and what have you, I started promoting a light and heavy Instagram page. As I mentioned just a minute ago, I said I got off Instagram for my personal account, but then I know a lot of you are probably thinking, wait, Jason, don't you have a light and heavy Instagram page you've talked about a lot? I do, and I did. And what I realized was I was talking to my spiritual director about this, and I was just like, I feel like I need to have an Instagram page because that's what everybody else does whenever they're a creator. And it's like, okay, I want to attract viewers to this channel, but Instagram is a way where I can keep my audience involved on a consistent, regular basis. And then hopefully if there's somebody that catches and sees something on my Instagram page that they're interested, that they can drive them back to this channel and to see these videos. And I just was in this cycle, and I was just going, but why? Why am I doing this? And ultimately it was just, it's for the numbers. And it's because I want to. And why? Because I want to be successful in this. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But, and it's good to have a drive to be successful. That's called ambition. In fact, I looked up the definition here for ambition, and ambition is a strong desire to do or achieve something. And then the secondary definition is ultimately to achieve success. And in our world, and especially in our society, we think that ambition is so good to have that it should be, it's on the same level as a virtue. And I went to Mass a couple of weeks ago, and I was at Mass, at a daily Mass, and the reading was on James and John and his mother, and their mother went to Jesus and said, hey, make my son sit on your right and left, Jesus. And Jesus was like, you don't know what you're asking. Do you really want, because if in order to sit on my, it wasn't up to him, it was up to his Father. But, even if he had a choice, he doesn't have that choice. It's up to his Father. But even if he did, do you understand what you're asking? The Monsignor that was given the homily, he said, here's the mother trying to be ambitious. trying to overreach and trying to, find some type of success for her sons. And this is this desire. But it's not a virtuous desire. Because typically, in order for us to succeed, we have to kind of put ourselves on a pedestal. We have to put ourselves out there in front of a camera or in front of an audience or create something to put out there in the world. But we have to remember that virtue and the virtues are something different. Now, you may be asking, what is a virtue? Great question. I've looked it up before I recorded, and a virtue is an habitual and firm disposition to do good. And I love that because it's a firm disposition to do good. Not to succeed, but to do good. And it goes on, it says moral virtue, because in the Catholic Church we have different types of virtue. So the moral virtue is acquired. We acquire moral virtue through our efforts and God's grace. That we have, cooperation within that. Whereas a theological virtue, faith, hope, and charity, are supernatural gifts given to us by God solely under his own free will. So it's a complete gift of God that he gives us faith, hope, and charity. So the thing I think we kind of blur the lines is that understanding of like moral virtue and, striving, the disposition to do good. And again, we have to remember there's nothing wrong with ambition. We all should have a drive. We all should have great ambitions. But the moment we start trying to say our ambition is a virtue, is the moment then we start seeing, well, in order to be successful, is being good and being successful what's more important? And do we allow the success or the strive for success overtake the strive of being good and being in a position to always lean and always do what's good and right first before doing what is successful? The trap, as I said in YouTube, is to garner numbers. It's all about the numbers. It's all about how much time y'all watch, how many viewers I have, how many subscribers. And if I'm so worried about, well, what am I going to create? What type of video? What type of title? What type of image? All those things that will grab you and hold you in. I had to really kind of look inward, like, am I any better than the advertisers and the marketers and the geniuses over at Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and to grab your attention that way? Or do I stay true to myself, stay in a disposition of good, make really good solid content, and if you watch it, great, and if you don't, so be it. And if you want to watch this whole video, great. If you're done with it and you want to move on with your life, praise God, and God be with you, and I'll be praying for you. And thank you for watching up to this point, because I know it's been a long video at this point. The last thing I want to mention about this video is sometimes we can fall into a trap where we want success and we're not willing to put in the work. But more importantly, we forgot who we are before we start following the ambition. And the goal sometimes is, well, I want to be famous. I think I saw there was a poll out that millennials and Gen Z, number one or two of their goals in life is to be famous and not to be good, not to have a moral character and moral virtue. And I know a lot of times, especially in the Catholic circles that I'm around with, I see a lot of times people are saying, well, I want to be the next fill in the blank famous Catholic speaker. And again, this idea of fame, especially in the Catholic world, is really, really weird. And it's kind of a new phenomenon. And whether someone that's famous watches this or not, what I hope is that, are you staying true to a virtuous life? Are you in a disposition of doing the good? Because if you're doing the good first and primary, then if you can go for your ambition, but you're not going to lose sight of who you are genuinely. Because the people that just go for success and go for fame and the money and everything else, they never had a virtuous life to begin with. But those that have a virtuous life can then go after their ambitions, but always stay grounded and true to who they are, and constantly have to be praying the litany of humility. That's one of the prayers that I pray constantly every day, is the litany of humility, to remind myself that I'm not the end all be all. I'm nothing as compared to God, and that God forbid that this channel or my life becomes famous or blows up. If it does, so be it. But I don't want to change who I am and seek the ambition rather than seeking virtue. That's what I wanted to share with y'all today. Thank you for letting me go on my soapbox and kind of ramble what's been on my heart and what's been rolling through my brain the last couple of weeks. Right now, as you know, this is Lent. That's also another reason why I've been kind of sporadic with these videos too, is because I just wanted to kind of keep it low key this Lent. But I'm kind of working on some stuff. I've got some ideas in mind for a few more videos, and then kind of looking to the summer of different pilgrimages, ideas, things like that. So if you're watching this, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video. Also, just let me know if there's any pilgrimage sites you would like me to go visit, or if you have any questions about pilgrimages in general that I could do a video on. Just leave a comment down below or shoot me a message. I'd be happy to answer that. Obviously, the only way to reach me is on this channel. So please do that. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. God bless.